We are at the tipping point, people.
The planet's first catastrophic climate tipping point reached
a new reality as it hits its first climate tipping point.
The world's first climate tipping point has been crossed.
You cross that tipping point, climate no longer matters.
Beneath the waves, something irreversible may have just happened. Scientists say warm water coral reefs have crossed the tipping point, the first major Earth system to do so. In many places around the world, coral reefs have turned from cities of color to fields of white. And the ocean itself is beginning to change in ways that we lost for centuries. But what if these dying reefs could still teach us how to protect the living ones? In our natural history collections, we have fossils of organisms that experienced the same fate millions of years ago. What secrets can they tell? How fast did they fall? And what made them rise again? And more importantly, could those lost worlds hold the blueprint we need today? Many scientists agree that we've reached the moment when reefs tip. But is there still time to tip the planet back? This is a story about collapse and recovery, about lessons buried in stone, and about the people working to bring life back to the sea. I'm Dr. Silvia Pineda-Munoz, and this is Climate Ages. Across the tropics, underwater cities are falling silent. Coral reefs, the colorful landscapes of the sea, are turning ghost white. According to the Global Tipping Points report of 2025, warm water coral reefs have become the first major Earth system to cross a climate tipping point. In simple terms, it means reefs have reached a point where damage fuels more damage. Heat kills corals. And as reefs lose their structure, they become even more vulnerable to the next wave of stress. Even if warming stopped today, many would keep declining because the balance that kept them alive has been lost. Scientists estimate that this line was crossed at about 1.2 degrees Celsius of global warming. And Earth has already reached roughly 1.4 degrees Celsius. The report warns that even if raising temperatures stop at 1.5 degrees Celsius, the goal of the Paris Agreement, more than 99% of the reefs could vanish. This is not a prediction for the next century. It is the reality of the one we're living in. Recent headlines echo that message. The Guardian called it the planet's first catastrophic tipping point. Reuters described reefs entering an almost irreversible die-off. Around 84% of the world's coral reefs have endured bleaching level heat stress in the current global event. Bleaching happens when corals overheat and expel the tiny algae that give them both color and food, turning them ghost white. We're talking about something that looks like this. If the water stays too warm for too long, the corals starve. Marine heat waves, once rare, now strike every year. But hidden inside that stark warning is another truth. Coral reefs are also teachers. They have faced warming, bleaching, major die-offs, drowning, and recovery before, and their fossils may still hold the record of how they did it. To understand what happens next, scientists are traveling back in time. For example, off the coast of Hawaii, researchers recently drilled into ancient reefs now buried hundreds of meters below the waves. Each fossil coral they recovered, bended like a tree ring, recorded the rise and fall of sea levels and temperatures over thousands of years. Those reefs once flourished in shallow sunlight before being submerged as the sea level climbed faster than they could grow. They drowned quietly, layer by layer. Now let's go back further, about 183 million years ago, to the Thracian oceanic anoxic event. Back then, volcanoes spanning entire continents released immense amounts of carbon dioxide. Oceans warmed, oxygen levels plunged, and changes in seawater chemistry made it increasingly difficult for corals and other reef builders to grow. Reef construction slowed and then largely stopped, and many coral species disappeared. It took more than 1 million years before reef ecosystems began to recover. Even then, they return smaller and simpler than before. This proves that recovery is possible, but only when warming and acidification finally slow down. It could take another 170 million years, well into the Cenozoic era, about 13 million years ago, before coral reefs regain the diversity and complexity we see in the oceans today. So that you can grab your heads around what does so much time means, think about this way. In that span of time, dinosaurs rose, diversified, and went extinct, and mammals like us evolved long before the oceans fully revealed their coral kingdoms. Now let's go back even further in the Devonian period, nearly 380 million years ago. Back then, the world's reefs collapsed altogether. Heat and acidification broke the partnership between corals and their algae. The same fragile symbiosis that fuels reefs today and that gives many of them these mesmerizing colors. What did the recovery look like back then? Well, it took more than 100 million years for large coral reefs to return. From Hawaii's drowned terraces to Devonian fossils, the story is consistent. Reefs thrive when change is slow and crumble when it is too fast. Yet they also show that recovery, given time, a long time, and stability, is possible.
No, I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
If history tells us anything, is that reefs can recover, but only when the planet slows down enough, and that's exactly what's different now. This time, the change isn't unfolding over millions of years. It's happening within decades. The kind of stress that once played out in geological slow motion is now unfolding during a single human lifetime. Still, the fossil record offers more than warnings. It offers blueprints. The drowned Hawaiian reefs show that corals can migrate, adapt, and regrow when they get even a short window of relief. Ancient die-offs remind us that collapse has never been absolute. Otherwise, we wouldn't have any corals today. Small pockets of life always found ways to hang on, even if in deeper, cooler, or more stable waters. And eventually, they can become the seed banks for recovery. That's the challenge we face today, but it's also our hope. Just as we've created rapid negative change, we can also create rapid positive change. If we can slow the pace of warming, protect the surviving reefs, and give nature a moment to breathe, the oceans can start to heal faster than we think. Around the world, scientists and communities are already doing this work. In the Caribbean, restoration teams are growing heat-tolerant coral fragments in underwater nurseries and planting them into damaged reefs. Pacific Island nations are using drones and satellites to detect bleaching early so that local rangers can protect cooler areas. The Global Tipping Points report reminds us that there are positive tipping points too. These are moments when solutions spread as quickly as the problems they replace. Solar and wind power are already past those thresholds in many countries. Electric vehicles and green hydrogen are close behind. Each step cuts emission and cools oceans a little more, giving reef a better chance. There is another kind of positive tipping point happening quietly in coastal communities: awareness. Local stewardship programs in Fiji, Belize, and Indonesia are proving that when people have both knowledge and ownership, reefs recover faster and stay healthier. These stories matter because they show that coral reefs are not passive victims. They are resilient ecosystems waiting for conditions to calm. If we give them that chance by cutting carbon, cleaning coastal waters, and protecting surviving reefs, they can still be part of the ocean's future. Coral reefs have crossed a threshold, but not the point of no return. As the 2025 report well explains, their survival now depends on how quickly we can create tipping points of our own toward clean energy, smarter conservation, and a shared sense of care for the world beneath our waves. At Climate Ages, we believe that when we understand, we care. And when we care, that's when we protect. The story of reefs is not ending, it is evolving. And for the first time, we'll get to choose the next chapter. Subscribe for more science that explains our past and shapes our future.
Did you know that Climate Ages started as a science storytelling newsletter that now has over 12,000 subscribers? Visit climateages.com and join a community of optimistic changemakers. I can't wait to see you there.